Hello, welcome to 15-minute consulting best practices. I am Maria Isabel Rios, and here is David A. Fields.
My camera was off.
Welcome back, David. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Welcome to everybody who's on the space. We're here to answer your questions about how to create more success, more traction, more delight for you and your clients in your consulting firm. So bring your questions and be part of the conversation. Chime in with your insights and participate in the discussion. That's how we get better outcomes in this space. That's what we're here for. In the meantime, it takes us a minute to see what you write. So Jaren, can you please pose the question? And good morning, John, Michael, and Thom. Share a question that was submitted during the week or from last week. Okay, Todd had asked, what are the hallmarks of A-level relationships? From a high level, what percentage of relationships are likely to be A versus B? Wanting to calibrate my relationship O-meter. All right, so Todd wants to calibrate A relationships, meaning warm, B relationships.
Got it.
What do you think?
Like, what's an A relationship? What's a B relationship? What's the mix? Got it. Okay. This one is pretty straightforward. So I'll give you the answer, and I'm glad it's beautiful in Baltimore. It's beautiful up in Connecticut. My camera was outside playing. That's why I had to get it. Exactly. So an A relationship is defined as someone whom you can easily get into conversation with because they know you, they like you, they probably trust you, and they see value in the relationship. So if you reach out, in all likelihood, they will reach back. Call it 80% or more likelihood. Which means a B-level relationship is someone you know and who knows you, but it may be a little difficult or questionable whether or not they respond to you. Call it less than 80%, but more than 10%, like somewhere in that range. So there's a chance, again, they know you, it's just maybe they don't have that kind of level of interaction or engagement with you where you feel like, yeah, if I reach out, I know they're going to call me back. I know they're going to email me back. I know they're going to message me back. And then everyone else is a C because either they don't know you, or maybe they've heard of you, or maybe you've even met, maybe you met at a conference or something, but the relationship isn't strong enough that you even have a 10% chance that they will reach back to you if you reach out to them. So those are the numbers, and good. We're getting the weather in from everywhere, which is important. You asked what the mix is. I'm not sure there's a likely mix, or well, here's what we can tell you. My guess is for people who have not been relationship oriented in general, have been in corporate perhaps, haven't focused on creating a network, they will typically have a handful of A relationships. It's usually pretty small. Most folks start with under 15 A relationships, and often it's well under 10. And especially with decision makers. So I should say A1 relationships. There are other people who call them back. I mean, they do have family. And your target is to get to 100 A1s in your network. That's everybody's target. So all of you who are listening, that's your target, 100 A1s. Because if you have 100 decision makers in your network with whom you have strong relationships, you reach out to them, they reach back, you can build any size firm you want. You could keep it small. You could build into mid 8 figures. You do whatever you want. But there's no, so that's your goal. Then if you have lots of Bs, perfect. That's my thinking. You'll have to let me know whether that calibrates your relationship O-meter. And Maria Isabel, would you look at it differently? Other thoughts? What do you think?
Absolutely the same way. And for those of you who are listening and who are part of boutique firms, when we say 100 A1 relationships, so warm relationship with decision makers, we mean for each rainmaker in the firm, right? So if you have a 60, 70, 80 person firm and you have 6, 7 rainmakers, lead rainmakers, each one of them should have a network core, ideally, made out of 100 decision makers. So don't necessarily assume that because the whole firm has relationships in the aggregate with 100 decision makers, you're set for life. Yes, that could generate plenty of business for the firm, and that could be fuel for a very good and healthy firm kind of revenue-wise. However, the ultimate goal is for each rainmaker to have a healthy network in and on themselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. Glad that worked, Todd. And if anybody else has questions on that, let us know your questions or a different opinion. Let us know your different opinion. Todd, that's very good. Maria Isabel and I are looking forward to seeing your relationship-o-meter.
Yes.
Yeah. So you just send it over.
Yes,
all right.
Absolutely.
There's nothing else has popped up from the group at this point. So, Jaren, are there any others in the basket, or are we having an early day? Oh, look at this. There's a long one.
All right.
Okay, here you go, Maria Isabel. Here's where I want your team's opinion. That being you. I've been looking at my firm's case studies, and it jumps out that we don't really deliver quantified value. It's not a natural fit with what we do, which is more strategic. Okay, I have some thoughts on that. That made me wonder if we would be more successful in pleasing our clients and generating more follow-on work if we somehow scoped engagements so that they resulted in concrete improvements to the business during the timeline of the engagement. So I guess looking for an opinion. What do you think? Would clients be happier? Would they win more business if they, what do you say, scoped it to deliver more concrete improvements during the timeline? What do you think, Maria Isabel?
So thank you, William. And also congratulations, because from the framing of your question, it seems you have already proven that you can add value to your client, right? Because you have a pipeline of clients, you have clients where you're delivering work, and I'm assuming your clients are satisfied with your work, which is why you continue to work with them. Now, can you deliver even more value for them if you quantify? Yeah. So in general, if you can measure, if there are things you can measure, people will feel that they can wrap their arms around the value you're delivering a lot better, and therefore it will solidify in their minds and in how they communicate about the work you're doing a lot better, the value that you're delivering. So what can you measure? Presumably, if you did your context discussion right, you've defined two things. One, you've understood the desired outcomes. So what is the ultimate solution or the ultimate value your clients are looking for in your engagement? And two, you are defining indicators of success, right? Ideally, both of those things become things that you can measure. Now, do they have to become dollar measurements? In your case, that's probably going to continue to be difficult to do in the span of your project. So look for things that you can measure that are reflective of the desired outcomes they put on the table, that are reflective of the indicators of success, and track against those, right? How can you track whether you are actually achieving that success? That's where you bring or you start connecting the dots for your client, and you say, okay, look, are we delivering faster? Are we delivering better? Are we delivering in a more efficient way? What would be a good measure? What can we measure, right? Can we measure level of engagement? Can we measure level of connectedness, right? Can we measure level of buy-in to the strategy? Can we measure how quickly we can get a strategy approved, or how willing our board members are to share our strategy across or outside our organization? You know, things like that are things that are not traditional metrics of, yes, you know, this much in savings or this much in extra revenue, but are possible things you could measure. So desired outcomes, indicators of success, how would you go about measuring against those? David, what's your idea? What would you say to William?
Yeah, well, I came out where you are. So first of all, I agree with you, with your assessment that a quantified benefit helps. It helps on all manner of things, and it actually literally to the point of the market value of your firm, if you were going to market with your firm, is higher if you have quantified benefit. That's sort of what the market has shown. And that doesn't mean, as you said, it has to be dollars. So I agree with you. You can measure most things, and clients do like to see concrete stuff, even if it's concrete built on fairly fluffy metrics. What percentage of your personnel gave a happy smile, or a happy emoji versus a frowny emoji? There you go. So almost any metric will be better than just, well, we deliver strategic value, which we can't really put a number on, which I think is kind of where you were.
Yeah. There's one thing that came to mind, William, as we were talking about it, which is a situation a client of ours was describing probably 2 weeks ago as we were in conversation, where a prospect told them that they had won a pretty sizable engagement in competition with others because they were the only firm that put more than one number in their proposal. And so the other firms, the only number that they had put in their proposal was the fee, right, that they were going to pay. So they were going to say, so their client was saying, okay, are we going to pay this much amount of dollars? They were trying to translate it into hours, into days of works, into things like that. Whereas our client had gone ahead and said, okay, listen, we're going to be twice as likely to achieve this, 3 times as likely to achieve that. And these were not dollar measures. These were not necessarily a hard-driven efficiency measures, but they gave their prospect a sense of how quantifiable the effort would be, and that's what tipped the scales. Yeah. So
And Todd here recommended How to Measure Anything by Douglas Hubbard, which Marie Isabel got from me a few years ago, which is excellent. So Todd, you and Marie Isabel, and it's right back there. Mine is right back there. And there was another question popped up somewhere.
It's here. Okay. It says, how long should it take to get to the 100 1A level connections? A1, okay. If you start incorporate as you described, what are the best tools to get there? Okay, so you want to build 100 relationships, warm relationships with decision makers. How long to get there?
Wow.
Let's set up some expectations for Rob, and thank you for your question, Rob.
Rob, it's a good question. It depends so much on the individual. There are some people, not natural connectors, really resistant to connecting, that could be a lifetime ambition, getting to 100 A1s. And there are people we have seen build that core in 2 years, 3 years. We have a client thinking of right now, went new market, built that out in a matter of 3 years. The goal I would set for yourself is 5. And if you're starting from almost nothing, let's say you're starting from 10. So you've got 90 to add over 5 years, which means add 20 a year because a couple are going to fall out. You can do that. That will take some effort for a lot of people. But at the end of 5 years, you have a network which can support any size firm you want. That's what I think. What do you think, Marie Isabel? Agree, disagree? Is that too ambitious?
I am thinking of another client who, I don't know if they would describe themselves as a natural connector, but are really disciplined in their approach to business development and are also really right side up. And in a matter of 2 years have grown their network, again, from, I believe, 20 something in one of their verticals to over 100 A1 connections by virtue of every person they meet. They have been very methodical with building a one-on-one relationship and always being right side up and having that discipline of that process and not letting anybody fall through the cracks. So I don't know whether that the requirement is necessarily to be naturally talented, and I'm going to push back a little bit on that
I
one.
think that's very fair. So if you're disciplined, you have a good process, you can go there faster. I was trying to not have Rob
Over
feel
indexed.
struggle by missing that. And Caitlin not got me thinking about how to build a tracker to get to 100 A1s. All right,
Right,
there you
exactly.
go. Perfect. And with that, even though there's more questions, look, we've used our 15 minutes. So thank you for spending 15 minutes with us. A couple of things before you run. Some of you don't receive our articles weekly. And if you don't receive them, thank you, Jaren. Where is it? Right over there. Great. Make sure you subscribe so that you know not just about you get the articles, but also there's special offers, there's programs, there's some free webinars and things that only subscribers hear about. And a bunch of them are right now and coming up now. So make sure you subscribe. Thank you, Jaren, for putting that there. Also, please connect with us on LinkedIn. Thank you, Jaren. Jaren has put up the LinkedIn profile link. So if you're not connected, and gosh, all of you, I know you want to come back every Monday. And so make sure you've got Monday Live in your calendar. And that way you get here every Monday and you get a reminder. And that is it. Thank you so much for joining us. Marisabel, was there something else?
Yes, next week is a holiday on Monday. So it's 2 weeks from now.
Exactly.
So for those of you who are outside the US, don't stress if you don't see us next Monday. It will be 2 weeks from now.
Exactly right. So have a fabulous 2 weeks. Remember, as always, consulting is about them, your clients and your prospects. So give them value and give them kindness. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.